Why can't you wear a black suit, huh? Do you own a black suit? It's so funny that Make America Healthy Again does not include free healthcare. Yeah, let's start with the basics, huh? Peter Navarro. 90 deals in 90 days is possible. This is day 15, still 0 deals. You can't say criminals don't deserve due process when due process is the thing that decides if they're criminals. Otherwise, you're just kidnapping people you don't like. Exactly, it's all about due process. If they're criminals, then prove it. And come on, during even the Nuremberg trials after World War II, guess what? There was due process. J.D. Vance. Who gave these justices a right to judge us? Isn't that the first thing you learn in Yale law? Like I said, the levels of ineptitude with them is laughable. Nah, you don't understand, MAGA's entirely right. Who do judges think they are, judging people? I know, right? The guys with the job literally to judge people shouldn't be judging MAGA. They didn't agree to that. This is not ineptitude. It's a deliberate attempt to undermine the rule of law, and the prosecution it gives to everybody currently not holding executive power, with the same arguments that populist movements have always had for that exact purpose. Sometimes it's hard to decide between ineptitude and malice, and quite often it is neither. Not in this case though. Yeah, he believes the Curtis Yarvin theory, and dismissing the courts is an important milestone in his ideology. I haven't heard of Curtis Yarvin and looked him up. Holy fuck, that's gotta be some of the most appalling shit I've heard this week. The biggest divide is not between right and left. It's between democracy and oligarchy. The billionaires who control our economy and democracy seek to divide us. They want us to turn on each other so we don't look up and see that they have all the wealth and power. I honestly thought the President of the United States using the Justice Department to potentially take away an opposition party's ability to fundraise for elections would have gotten more attention. Huh, me too. There hasn't been nearly enough coverage of this. I mean, that's MAGA all over, isn't it? Keep things hush-hush while they're doing drastic changes to the government, and with millions of blind followers cheering on for it. Who's sleepy now, huh? It's crazy to me that the guy who nicknamed President Biden Sleepy Joe is the one caught asleep in courtrooms and funerals while the Joe's been wide awake. Every accusation is an admission. He projects more than an 80s movies theatre. GOP, gaslight, obstruct, and project. Aw, drooling Donald. I remember watching the news every day about how old Biden was and he needs to step down. Not a peep about drooling Mr. Poopy Pants over here. Someone asked a news agency why they did this to Biden and not a peep about Trump. They claimed that Trump did it so often that it wasn't news. I mean, technically it wasn't, but holding one group to a higher standard is just bullshit. 2 Japanese automakers, Nissan and Subaru, announced plans to close all the US plants because of Trump's tariffs. Loss of over 40,000 American jobs and $10 billion to the US. Winning. Make America great again, right guys? Yeah, I'd rather see Tesla close. I'm sure we'll get nothing but a shrug of the shoulders from Trump. That's the sacrifice he's willing to take. There's a transition, no one understood it, but now they do. Yeah, we sure do. The transition while everything crashes and burns as he gets rid of people we needed to function properly, then we'll be down in the rubble on solid ground and everything will be great. Can't go anywhere but up from there. I mean, for the people that make it through, anyway. The transition is away from a global economy, and instead to one where Russia dominates their sphere of influence, China theirs, and the US is isolated in their little empire that stretches from Panama to Greenland. This works out better for the Christian nationalists, since that lets them do all the horrible shit they want to do, without worrying about any pesky sanctions from any remaining do-gooder liberal democracies, if there are still any. Which, in my opinion, there will be, because guess what? Some people still have brains and independent thought. Sure, most economists will tell you that this will totally wreck the economy and lead to a dystopian Hunger Games-esque future, But hey, at least we don't have to put up with those people existing anymore. But hey, at least we don't have to put up with those people existing anymore, whoever they may be. Yep, it's really that horrifyingly stupid. Scooby-Doo taught us that cops don't do their job, and it's up to America's youth to unmask the greedy old white guys that are terrorizing society. Holy fuck. And hey dear little viewer, my manager told me to do some shilling. So do you guys want to know a little statistic? Did you know, according to YouTube statistics, I can't believe I'm saying this, only 14% of you guys are subscribed. So hey, if you enjoy this gay guy reading stuff, you should totally press the subscribe button. Anyway, let's continue. Just a heads up, Donald Trump did this. It's so weird seeing the port of Seattle without any ships. I don't see how we're going to get out of this without a ton of supply shortages. Empty shelves are probably coming. LA Port is looking to follow the same outcome. Husband's in the dispatch industry, and we knew things would be bad if he was elected and tried to save as much as possible beforehand. And even still, we're barely hanging on. Mortgage, 2 babies, the dog, the car, even reduced down to 1 car. We don't know how anyone else is surviving. If I didn't have a full-time job, we'd be truly screwed. Trump will go down as the world's biggest charlatan, among the many other abhorrent things he's done. Sending love and positivity to those who need it, it's tough now, but hey, we'll get through it. I'm in SoCal and the Inland Empire is gonna get hammered. I don't have a full-time job right now because the market is horrible. I upkeep my parents' house, so it's not like I can easily move out, even if I did have a full-time job, because they'd go under without me or my brother, who helps them more on the financial side of things. I work for one of those huge warehouses for one of the big national chain retailers in the Inland Empire. So far, nothing out of the usual, but a slight emphasis on flex schedules. i.e. volunteer to leave early or get time off. Nothing weird in terms of quantity. My department is pushing, but I'm waiting for the bomb to go off. It sucks too, because as shitty as my job is, it's actually fairly decent in terms of pay and benefits. If I lose my job, we're in deep shit. That's the thing MAGA just doesn't seem to understand, is their political choices have real-world consequences, and this is it. Mainstream media is complicit in the current situation. Dear media, we're gonna need you to stop being so polite with Trump. Stop using kind words to describe his bullshittery, his grifting, and his absolute chaos. When he lies, call it lying. When he grifts, call it grift. When he acts like a fucking fascist, call it that. That should go along with all of his cronies as well. The guy is openly soliciting bribes through his crypto. Say so. Because far too many people think, since you're acting like all this shit is normal, that it's normal. None of it is normal. Act like it. That's the thing everyone needs to know. Complicity and not pushing back is how these people can get away with what they do. And at least in my opinion, a lot more needs to be done politically. And even people in the Republican Party still have the chance to push back on this, because this is, at least what I can see, a takeover and gutting of the government. This is Trump's America. Intellectuals into the fields and more kids for the mines. And all to keep you in poverty. This is what happens when you elect a moron that thinks groceries is an old-fashioned word. More Americans are financing groceries with buy now, pay later loans. And more are paying those bills late, survey says. Jesus Christ. As an aspiring fiction writer, it's really hard to create satire or speculative fiction in a country this deranged. American farmers are still losing billions though. Tourism is losing billions. Small businesses are closing. Welcome to Trump's world. Small crafter here. A lot of my raw materials come from Canada, China, India. I can replace some of it with more expensive American sourced materials, but American gemstones aren't super available. Guess I need to start spending my vacations in the dig your own dirt mines in the Carolinas and Arkansas. I'm not an economist or anything, but this seems like a super huge economic red flag. This is lunacy. Just got word. Clemson University has 15 genders on their student profiles. We're on it. Okay, that's cool and all, but Americans are putting insulin on credit cards, Congresswoman. Distraction politics through and through. Hey maggots, look at the shiny anti-woke and anti-immigrant thing we're dangling in one hand, while the other hand makes us and our billionaire buddies richer as it fucks you over. Rattles keys to El Salvadorian prison. Nancy Mace is a pickpocket. She draws your attention to the left while she steals your wallet from the right. It's a political tool used to distract people from the real problem. 'Cause hey, why question the economic fallout of tariffs and all the bullshit Trump's doing when, what's that? People are living the life they want? Dear America. Yeah, you proud of this? Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States. Ashamed, yeah. But where's Fox News' coverage of this, like when they did to Biden if he dozed off? Indeed, that fuck Jesse Walters would never shut up if this were Biden and not Trump. Just for context, this guy is just dumb. Trump, it's possible we'll do a complete tax cut because I think the tariffs will be enough to cut all of the income tax. Yeah, what's next? The $5,000 Doge stimulus check? Oh, everyone gets a free pony? Everyone gets free ice cream for lunch? Yeah, you're pulling the same stops kids did when they wanted to be class president. Come on. Honestly, at this point, it's clear he's off his rocker. All the vitriol and attention being spent on him should be directed more at the Republicans in the House and Senate that are allowing this to happen. I haven't seen nearly enough things about how all of the dumb shit he's saying is being passively signed off by the Republican majority. We'll remove all taxes because the tax you'll pay on everything, which would make the tax burden fall on the lower classes more painfully. Donald J. Trump's fever dream. Also, the tariffs on China are so high that trade is effectively frozen until they become something realistic. It's not a matter of raising prices, we're gonna see empty shelves. Goods we take for granted will simply not be available. The CEOs of 3 major companies just sat down with Donald Trump and told him, if you don't do something, our shelves will be empty. This is why he seemed to back off China tariffs for all of 3 seconds before now claiming that they will somehow offset income tax. Yeah, right. Brown shirts are disappearing innocents in unmarked vans. Oh, what's that? The NKVD's back? Oh, right. ICE says that they will bring charges against the 2 Immigration Rapid Response Hotline volunteers who demanded that agents show their badges before seizing 2 men from the Charlottesville courthouse. ICE is now asserting that it's a federal crime for bystanders to request that masked people in plain clothes show identification as they're handcuffing folks and stuffing them into unmarked vans. Fuck ICE. Fuck this administration. ICE needs to disappear. They lost it. They are crazy. The abolish ICE people weren't so crazy after all. They are kidnappers to further their white supremacy agenda. Marie's Trailer Queen is calling them the Gazpacho police. Yeah, they're soup Nazis. I mean, they're making the rules as they go. Who will stop them? The Department of Justice? Congress? We're royally fucked. At least now people can see in real time what they're doing thanks to the internet. But this is what Germany did right before going into World War II. But I hope we're stronger than Germany was. Hitler was somewhat intelligent, 140 IQ. He was dangerous in a calculated way. Trump has the intellectual and emotional capability of a 5-year-old. And that's an insult to a 5-year-old, to be honest. Sorry, 5-year-olds. Trump is dangerous because he requires constant attention, fealty, and acts of contrition. If he does not get those the moment he demands it, he shits his depends and acts out on whoever he perceives as his enemy. Edited because I'm stoned. It's not Trump's IQ we have to worry about so much as his enablers. Yeah, the Project 2025 and its lackeys. And Putin. I'm looking forward to Elon's rants. The modestly priced EV pickup goes 150 miles on a charge and is infinitely customizable. Deliveries start next year. Not perfect, but I'll support any effort to make cars smaller and less filled with bullshit. Honestly, I don't know about you, but Slate's new car is honestly amazing. I love the little thing. And hey, compared to the like $40,000 Tesla, I think most people would go for something like this. It's actually a relatively sensible vehicle for once, unlike the absurdly sized Ford pickup trucks and the fucking Cybertruck. I actually read the article. If these get made, they will be truly sick to own. 20k with tax credits, highly modifiable, 140 mile range which can be increased to above 220 with a battery pack upgrade. The company is also very fond of right to fix laws and will lay out instructions online on how to fix, replace, renew any components other than the really dangerous ones. This will include instruction on how to upgrade it to a radio in the cab, etc. Not to mention, they can expand it to 4 people with the purchase of 2 jump seats and a top which will contain a roll bar. Honestly, the perfect little DIY truck or farm truck for hauling small loads. Costs a third of an F-150 too, and literally zero electronics in the cab that can break. It's a great idea. Dude, you need to see the rolly windows on it. As soon as I saw those, I was sold. When I first saw the image, I was an instant fan just for the styling alone. It's downright badass in stock form. Add in the price and the right to repair stuff and it could be a brilliant truck. I would laugh, but there are desperate people falling for it. When tariffs cut in, many people's income taxes will be substantially reduced, maybe even completely eliminated. Focus will be on people making less than $200,000 a year. Also, massive numbers of jobs are already being created, with new plants and factories currently being built or planned. It will be a bonanza for America. The External Revenue Service is happening. So why do people making less than $200,000 have to wait until tariffs are working, but billionaires get a tax cut right now? Because they're never gonna do anything for those people under 200k. It's all lies. Yeah, what happened with the Doge check everyone's gonna get, apparently? What's that? It's not real? Oh, who could have thought? He said the thing, and that is the only carrot on the stick his cult needs to keep following and laughing at Dems while their banks drain. Of course, it'll take just a teensy bit longer than 4 years, so you'll have to elect me again or the Democrats will ruin it. Next crisis will get 10 very strong questions. Schumer on the Democratic response to Trump's takedown of Harvard. We sent him a very strong letter just the other day asking 8 very strong questions. 8? Holy shit, you're all like Leech Welser up there. Such bravery. I'm sorry for the comments that are about to say I butchered that name. I probably did, and yeah, I suck at pronouncing things. Not a single international cargo ship at the port of Seattle. The last ship from China will dock at a west coast port on the 29th. And the last Chinese ship will dock on the east coast around May 20th. After that, there will be no more shipments arriving from China. Yeah, we're screwed. It takes ships anywhere between 15 to 30 days to arrive from the west coast from China. We're about to reach the find out stage of Fanta Fiera's tariff chaos, where the supply chain breaks down, again, under the current admin's leadership. Fanta Fiera gave me a fucking amazing laugh, despite how terrifying this is. Thank you for that. Adding this to my personal cache of nicknames for him. When we have to, my friends and I refer to him as PSP, or Pumpkin Spice Palpatine. Fanta Fiera is a more summery fit though. Apricot Pol Pot, Mango Mussolini, Adolf Hitler. Do you think we got the right to vote for women because a bunch of men on the House floor got together and said, on the count of 3, women get the right to vote? That's not how it happens. Change doesn't come from Washington. It comes to Washington. Not just the 19th Amendment. We had a war over slavery, people were getting beaten up in the streets during the Civil Rights Movement. My fellow LGBTQ members fought their asses off to be equal in this country. Any good fight is not won overnight. It's not an easy process. You fight, you bleed, and you sweat until you feel like you can't do it anymore. Then you keep going. One day, this all will be history. Literally. I know which side I'm on. No one is above the law. So why isn't Trump in prison then? The grey checkmark represents an official government account. This official government account posted a photo of a judge in handcuffs being walked to a vehicle with the faces of agents on either side blurred out. Again, this is the official position of the government of the United States. Let's maybe spend a bit of time thinking about that. They are all but spelling out vigilante justice to their sycophants at this point. Fun fact, the judge did nothing illegal, unlike Trump. For real, I read the criminal complaint against her. I have no idea what they are after with the first statute, because there is no document destruction, force, or threats. And the judge let the subject of their administrative warrant go through the jury door, but directed them out into the hallway where agents were waiting. One of which rode the elevator down to the exit with the person he was going to arrest. Gonna be hard to prove harboring or concealing when she directs them to where they were waiting. Don't have to prove anything in court if they're sent out of the country before being brought into court. MAGA 2025. Fun. Why is Trump not in jail? Why did he pardon all the Jan 6ers who clearly did illegal things and were convicted? Because the Republican Party is infested with hypocrites and liars. It's really that simple. You really want to talk about waste and fraud? Trump went all the way to Rome just to take a nap, keeping the US safe. Looking forward to the Fox News goons taking that 2-year-old down a few pegs. That infant is no angel, despite what the libs want you to believe. Did you know she cried a lot? I heard she's not even potty trained. Disgusting. I just can't believe this is where we are and we're not even 100 days into the administration. Donald Trump said, "I expect the legal profession to understand that the nation is not here for them, but they're here for the nation. From now on, I shall intervene in these cases and remove from office those judges who evidently do not understand the demand of the hour." Yeah, just kidding. It was saying that. But hey, the talking points are pretty similar. You shouldn't be surprised. Trump isn't a fascist meteorite that came out of nowhere. Trump is a symptom of what has been under the surface of the United States of America for decades. Been saying this for years. He's a symptom of inequality, financial instability, and people looking for a strong man to pull them out of their misery. Unfortunately, most people think history isn't intertwined with their own perspective or decisions. They really think they're unique in almost every thought they have. Elon Musk's ex sues to overturn Minnesota law that prohibits election disinformation using AI deepfakes. Musk needs to lie to voters. I remember searching up who's the biggest spreader of disinformation on Elon Musk's Grok, and you could probably guess who they said it was. Minnesota law says you can't knowingly spread fake AI media content with the intent to influence an election. X has just sued to overturn that law. They are fighting for the right to lie to us. Elon Musk's ex sues to overturn Minnesota political deepfakes ban. Yep. Musk all over. A huge scumbag all over. Just so no one forgets, Fox News had to cough up $787 million for lying to the public. Honestly not at all orders to say that wasn't surprising. Damn right. When this is over, the Mar-a-Lago trials better make the Nuremberg trials look like a practice run. Even in liberal revenge scenarios, Republicans get more due process than current-day immigrants. I suppose I wouldn't mind conservatives bitching about due process when it's their own arse on the line. No due process for one leads to no due process for all. There are no exceptions, there is no nuance, everyone gets a trial or no one does. Truly apropos of nothing, one of the most inexplicable parts of the Trump-era media coverage has been the total lack of interest in his relationship with Epstein. They were very close friends. Ghislaine recruited girls at Mar-a-Lago. I've known Jeff for 15 years, terrific guy. Trump booms from a speakerphone. He's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said he likes beautiful women as much as I do. And many of them are on the younger side, no doubt it. Jeffrey enjoys his social life. Source: Trump's interview for New York Magazine's article on Epstein in 2002. Trump said and did some interesting things with Epstein before it became public that he was a pedophile. Trump said and did some interesting things with Epstein before it became public that he was an EDP. There is no way he didn't participate in those things. Being that close to Epstein, and he's just dumb enough to damn near admit it in that interview. Ever so slightly dumber, and he would have straight up gave details. Every time someone says, "Why isn't media giving more coverage to X?" we all need to keep in mind they are flooding the zone with bullshit for a reason. Trump's absolutely the best at being incompetent. Trump's incompetence is everywhere. His regime can't keep military secrets, it can't maintain financial stability, it can't protect children from measles. While we resist Trump's authoritarianism, we also need to highlight his utter inability to govern America. Hey, great news! All 6 piece-of-shit cosplay fake cops who forcibly removed Dr. Teresa Brunfel from a Côte d'Alene town hall have been arrested and charged. She also plans to sue the county sheriff and the private security firm who employed the scum for $5 million. Hell yeah. Nothing like a bit of justice, eh? I hope she stays safe. Idaho has become something of a haven for right-wing white and nationalist and militant types. Sounds like she'll be able to afford security pretty quickly. I bet with this number of lawyers being pissed right now, she might get some pretty good counsel contingent. May have to be a few private security folks looking for a job right now. Maybe can hire them cheap. I mean, Idaho's been like that for decades, but your point still stands. I was born and raised in Idaho. Still here, unfortunately. It hasn't become that. It's been like that for its entire history. A lot of Confederate soldiers and officers fled west after the Civil War, and many ended up in Idaho. The Aryan Brotherhood has their headquarters in northern Idaho for a reason. Randy Weaver, Amon Bundy, and so many other domestic terrorists have called and continued to call Idaho their home.